All right, so we have, let's see, p of x is equal to x minus a negative 2, x minus a negative 2, and x minus 3/4. Foiling that out, we get x squared plus 4x plus 4 times 4x minus 3. Distribute the 4x. I get 4x cubed plus 16x squared plus 16x. Distributing the negative 3, I get negative 3x squared minus 12x minus 12. And then the final answer will be p of x is equal to 4x cubed plus 13x squared plus 14x minus 12.
Shouldn't it be 4x?
Yes, 4x. 4x. If you're trying to FOIL like this, right? If you're trying to FOIL that, that's going to be x squared minus 9 squared. You square whatever the two terms are, right? You just square them and you put the minus in between. That's what happens when you FOIL it. Okay? So we're going to do the same thing over here. So we're going to go x minus 1 and x minus rad 5 and x plus rad 5. Well, that's a difference of squares, so that'll be x squared minus rad 5 squared, right? So that'll be x squared minus 5 times x minus 1. And if you FOIL that, you get x cubed minus x squared minus 5x minus or plus 5. Okay.
Wait, Mr. Ho, how come you didn't?
All right, I'm going to start with my x minus and x minus and x minus, okay? Then inside there, I'm going to put my 3 and my 2 plus rad 11 and my 2 minus rad 11.
Why in parentheses?
Because I have a negative in the front and I have to take care of that negative in the front. I have all my pieces in there, okay? So first thing I'm going to do is distribute that negative sign. And I'm going to get x minus 2 minus rad 11. And x minus 2 plus rad 11. Okay? All right. Then I'm going to regroup this. So now I have a difference of squares with this as a term and this as a term. You see that? Do you see the difference of squares in there? So now it's going to look like this. X squared, x minus 2 squared minus rad 11 squared. That's my difference of squares. You see that? Yeah, does that make sense? Okay, good. All right. So that means that this is going to be x squared minus 4x plus 4. That's this part right here. That's the first, let me see. That's the first part right there. That's that foiled out here. Is that okay? And then that's going to be a minus 11. Does it all make sense so far? Okay, combining my like terms, I get a negative 7. And I'm going to finish distributing this out, okay? So when I distribute this out, I get x cubed minus 4x squared and minus 7x. And then distributing the negative 3, I get negative 3x squared plus 12x plus 21. So just adding my like terms, I get x cubed minus 7x squared plus 5x plus 21.
Wait, how'd you get from
Yeah. Recording for Albert. Say hi.
Hi Albert.
All right. Okay, so this is going to be x. X minus a negative 3 over 4. X minus 1 plus rad 3. X minus 1 minus rad 3. Just rewriting that, that will be x minus 1 minus rad 3, x minus 1 plus rad 3. Regrouping that in there so I can have a difference of squares. I get x minus 1 squared minus rad 3 squared. Foiling this out, some of you forgot how to foil, actually quite a few of you, but that's going to be x squared minus 2x plus 1 minus 3. And that's going to give me x squared minus 2x minus 2 times 4x plus 3. Pulling all that out, I get, let's see, 4x cubed, and that'll be negative 8, 5 minus 5x squared. That's negative 8, and negative 6, negative 4. Wait, is that negative? Yeah, it's negative 14x and minus 6. The leading term should be a negative, sorry. The leading term should be x to the 5th, negative x to the 5th. So I know that it falls to the, oops, rises to the left and falls to the right. The zeros are at 0, and that has a multiplicity of 2, and it has a 0 at negative 1, and that's going to have a multiplicity of an odd, and then 2 is also a even. There's two 2's. It comes up on this side, goes down on this side, and I gave you the maximums are those two maximums that's already put up there by the multiplicity. The minimum is 1.1 and a negative 2 right there. And then the other minimum is negative 0.7, so that's going to be right there. So I make sure I hit those points. The y-intercept happens to be one of my zeros, so I don't worry about that. Oops, I don't like that. Let's see.
Wait, the maximum?
What?
You just said the maximum, right?
One of the maximums is the y-intercept. Yeah, that is the y-intercept. Okay? So that would be the graph right there. First, you're going to factor out the negative 1/8 and also the greatest common factor of x squared. You're going to be left with x squared minus 16. And then that's negative 1/8 x squared, x minus 4, x plus 4. And then you can have zeros, and you can finish that one.